Doug DeMuro may be the cringiest guy on YouTube. But hey, that works for him. In fact, he just got a $37 million investment in his online auction platform, Cars and Bids. Cha-ching! But what about the car sellers list on Cars and Bids? Are they as cringe as Doug DeMuro himself? The answer is sometimes even worse. How many times have you looked at a car listed on Cars and Bids and said, yikes, that car is so cringe? Kind of like this video. So here it is, the top 5 most cringe cars on Doug DeMuro's Cars and Bids. Number 5, this 1988 Mazda RX-7 Turbo.
The FC Mazda RX-7 is usually a bitchin' classic sports car with great 80s looks, but this one's been given some upgrades, you know, to make it go fast. Like a 1.3-liter 13B
Streetport rotary engine and a Turbonetics 70mm turbocharger, a Walbro 340 LPH fuel pump, and 18-inch Volt TE37 wheels.
Okay, look, we love a sports car modded for performance, but what's up with the sparkly purple wide-body fenders on this RX-7?
Sparkle Pony?
Sparkle Tony.
Sparkle Pony?
Carful Honies?
Sparkle Pony.
What's a Sparkle Coney? We don't have that.
I know it's cliche, but doesn't this car look like it was one that Vin Diesel should have blown up in a Fast and the Furious movie? Come on.
Plus, check out the interior. It's totally stock. Did the owner run out of money when he got fired from Subway?
What happened to the $5 footlong? We used to be getting double the sub for less money. Inflation cannot be that bad in this country. What is actually going on?
With just 3 bids, the auction only got to 16 grand. Ouch. That's probably twice as much as the seller had in all those pricey mods.
At least the seller was smart enough to put down the vape pipe long enough to accept the final bid and sell this ridiculous car.
Selling this RX-7 is probably the smartest thing that seller has done in his entire life, besides, you know, moving in with his mom.
Number 4 most cringe car from Doug DeMuro's Cars and Bids, this 2000 Isuzu Vcross. What does Vcross even mean? What is a Vcross? All right, was this plastic-clad off-roader ahead of its time, or was it just a throwaway mall crawler?
The Isuzu Vcross was a, let's call it a unique and quirky SUV. They're becoming sought after by weird enthusiasts thanks to its goofy styling. A 3.5-liter V6 with 215 horsepower and off-road capabilities.
With features like Allen wrench screws holding on the plastic wide fender flares and a gas cap stolen from a Ducati motorcycle? Really? The designers of this SUV just couldn't pick a lane.
The interior is very derivative of Porsche, high-performance European sports cars going back to the 30s and 40s.
Really?
Even the guys who built the Isuzu Vcross said they wouldn't be caught dead in this truck.
I wouldn't be caught dead in that truck.
Can you even call this thing a truck? Or is it just a cringe car?
That's okay, kid. I can't say chivalry.
Number 3 most cringe cars from Cars and Bids. This 1997 Lamborghini Diablo that Doug DeMuro sold for just $153,000. You might be saying that's a great deal for a classic Lambo.
That is, until you look more closely. Sure, it's got an Italian 5.7-liter, 492 horsepower V12 under the hood, but the odometer that reads 56,000 kilometers is broken, meaning that the true mileage is unknown.
And that's just the beginning of a whole list of problems this car has. Like rock chips the size of Pringles all over the car. Repainted body panels, shockingly bad aftermarket interior mods that look like they came from the discount aisle at the O'Reilly's in the bad part of town. Plus, we're pretty sure George W. Bush was still the president the last time this car saw an actual Lamborghini mechanic.
With Italian exotics, you don't want to be the one left holding the bag when it comes to paying for service. That's why it looks like this seller went to Harbor Freight and did all the wrenching himself.
Relax. My old man is a television repairman. Got this ultimate set of tools. I can fix it.
The second most cringe car on Cars and Bids, this 2023 Fisker Ocean that should be at the bottom of the ocean. When the government decided to print trillions of dollars during the COVID lockdowns, they created artificial shortages that led to an astronomical inflationary bubble in the car market. Car companies simply couldn't build cars fast enough to meet demand.
Add to that with new government mandates, kickbacks, and rebates for EVs. The demand skyrocketed for electric cars. Everyone wanted an EV. Ever late to the party, Fisker decided to make a comeback and dip their toe into the market with the Fisker Ocean SUV for a list price of $65 grand.
Money, please. Money, please.
Plus, stupid customers were paying tens of thousands over retail just to order one. As a surprise to absolutely no one, Fisker went bankrupt again.
Oh, no, there's no money.
That's right. Fisker, one of the early adopters in the EV world, introduced their first car way back in 2011. Can you guess what that car was called? The Fisker Karma. Karma? Really? And guess what happened just a few years after they released the Karma?
Bankrupt.
So when Doug DeMuro tried to sell this boat anchor, the auction bricked at less than half of what the seller paid for the car just a few months after they bought it.
Money, please.
Oh, no, there's no money.
Cringe. And finally, the most cringe car Doug DeMuro has ever tried to sell on Doug DeMuro's Cars and Bids. This 2008 C6 I don't know how to say it, this dumbass Corvette.
The C6 Corvette has always been considered an attainable sports car, designed for the New Balance-clad boomer attempting to regain his youth. And why not? The C6 has the flashy looks to make up for that receding hairline. Plus, the venerable LS3 V8 pushing 430 horsepower will never leave you unable to perform.
Last night was so not a big deal.
Oh, yeah, I was just tired.
But this C6 Vet has gone full tilt Viagra, adding a ridiculous fiberglass Valera body kit to the already overdone Pimp My Dad styling of the C6 Vet.
And we about to pimp his grandfather's car.
It was like the designer was paid by the radius for every little curve on the body.
Money, please.
Cringe! Even Batman would think this car is shit.
C6 Corvettes with auto-tragic transmissions at 80,000 miles would typically only bring about 20 grand. A couple of hours before this auction was set to close, the highest bid was sitting at around 36 G's. In the final moments of the auction, an oddly specific bid of $62,975 dropped.
Say what?
That's twice the previous bid. And then with 2 minutes to go, another oddly specific bid of $63,475 dropped.
What?
And then if that wasn't weird enough, the Vet failed to sell.
Say what?
Say what one more goddamn time.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
And that's it, guys. The top 5 most cringe cars on Doug DeMuro's Cars and Bids.
Yikes, that's cringe.
No!
Your father would